Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. This is take two. We had a technical error when we tried to get the show started a little bit ago. I'm joined, of course, by Jonathan Voico.
Whoa, deja vu, similar cat.
By writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett.
I just missed the gig.
The line is it a similar cat or the exact same cat? And then I say, the exact same cat. And I have Europussy on screen. That was the bit, Rob.
I
miss Europussy. I really do. And of course, some of you have been around long enough to know what that means. And most importantly, of course, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. And we've got a lot of stuff to talk about here, so let's not waste any time since we're already a little bit behind schedule and start off with this. Now, of course, the biggest story that's been going around the world of the movie industry the last 6 months has been the impending merger of Warner Brothers with Netflix, with Paramount. At one point it was Paramount, then it was Netflix, and now it's Paramount again. But a lot of attention now has been put in place of like the role David Zaslav has played in this. And, you know, David Zaslav is already a very rich man, but he's going to be an even richer rich man when this is all done, as an article in Variety came out today.
Look at that.
Look at that. There it is. That he's getting like $500 million, $500 million from this deal. Now, of course, part of that is because when they restructured his deal, he gave up a bunch of salary in order to take stock options. And now with Paramount buying at $31 a share, all those stock options are going to equal a lot. Plus, as an executive, he gets a golden parachute and all that kind of stuff. But the interesting thing about this article, at least in the headline, it said he actually wanted to stay. He wanted to stay. And this was a really good article in Variety that I went through. Now, of course, you guys got to understand, I'm a fan of David Zaslav. Now, I understand that's an unpopular position to take sometimes, but like I always say, it's often lonely being right. But I've been a big fan of David Zaslav. A couple of things that I think people need to keep in mind when thinking about David Zaslav's era here, and it's pointed out in this Variety article, that once they acquired Warner Brothers, it had like a $56 billion debt. In just a couple of years, he has done the corporately impossible. He has cut down that debt by $24 billion.
Yeah.
That's like, maybe you don't travel in those types of circles. That's remarkable. In just that amount of time, he was able to pay down their debt by $24 billion. Also, he completely revitalized the studio. This past year, they set all types of all-time Hollywood records, including, 7 films in a row that opened to over $40 million. Never happened. They won their first Best Picture award at the Oscars in like 13 or 14 years. They haven't won Best Picture at the Oscars since like 2013 Argo or something like that. He's revitalized the entire HBO as well. They got like a 10-year-long Harry Potter franchise coming. All that kind of stuff, right? Completely re-elevated Warner Brothers back to respectability, all that kind of stuff. So why, a lot of people rightfully ask, is David Zaslav selling Warner Brothers? And I've tried to poorly explain it to people, and Variety just came out, this is why they get paid the big bucks, and really wrote this article that is absolutely fantastic and on key. Cynthia Littleton is the one who wrote the article. And there's a lot in it. And I want to go through it kind of extensively because I think there's some really interesting stuff here, not just about Zaslav, but about the industry as a whole and how it works. Because one of the big things that came out of this is that while it was absolutely the plan to sell Warner Brothers at some point, David Ellison did not want to sell it now. And he didn't want to sell it to Paramount. But he's kind of legally obligated to. Okay, so here's some of the highlights. As we jump over to the Campea Classroom here, I want to go through some of the highlights here about this article because it's quite a long one, but it's a great one. I highly encourage everybody to go and read the whole one for yourself. But one of the main things was this, is that the sale was forced by Paramount. While Zaslav did have long-term plans to restructure Warner Brothers Discovery, the sale process was essentially triggered by David Ellison's unsolicited and hostile bid in late 2025. Once the company was in play, the board's fiduciary duties, that means their responsibility to the shareholders, and something called the Revlon rule, which we'll go into in just a second, legally required them to then put it out to see if there would be higher bidders, effectively taking the timeline out of Zaslav's hands. So you see, by Paramount, because this is not a privately owned company, this is a publicly owned company, by Paramount coming forward, and I believe their first bid was $19 a share. By them coming out and doing that, it triggers a set of legal obligations that the board has. And then that led to them opening it up, seeing if there are any other interested parties. And once those bids, they come in. The second thing you really got to understand that really is highlighted in this article, David Zaslav, listen, I remember we saw him at CinemaCon. The first year after he took over Warner Brothers and he stood on stage, all David Zaslav wants to be is a Hollywood mogul, man.
Right.
He loves the movies and he loves Hollywood and he wants to be a Hollywood mogul.
Yeah.
And that has not changed. He doesn't want to leave. He wants to be a Hollywood mogul, which leads us to this thing too. The article emphasizes that Zaslav did not want to leave yet. His original strategy, we know this because we've talked about a lot on the show, was to split Warner Brothers Discovery into two different companies, into Warner Brothers Studios and HBO, and then all the legacy networks, right? The Home Improvement Channel, whatever that was, the Food Network, CNN, TNT, split all that off into a separate company and then just stay on and head up the studio. That's what he wanted to do, which would have likely allowed him to remain as a CEO.
Man, that sucks. I mean, it's got to suck when you want to be a Hollywood mogul and all you've got is $500 million to show for it.
Yeah.
Bummer.
But what does suck though is when all you want to be is a Hollywood mogul, you take over this dead and dying studio, which everybody forgets that's exactly what it was when AT&T owned it. AT&T ran Warner Brothers into the ground. Zaslav took over this dying corpse of a studio, paid off almost half its debt in just a couple of years, revitalized, re-elevated them to prestige, just got them their most Oscar nominations and whatever, surrounded himself with fantastic people. You do all that and then find out you got to sell, because the article implies that Zaslav didn't want to sell to Paramount and preferred Netflix, but due to the higher bid prices, shareholder groups started to threaten lawsuits or replace the board if they didn't consider it. So basically, David Zaslav was in a position that he was not planning on wanting to sell the company. Paramount comes along and puts in an unsolicited bid, which triggers a series of events that has to happen that led to this. So Paramount eventually, let's bring this up, increased their bid to $31 a share. Okay. That bid caused something called the Revlon Rule. Now, the Revlon Rule is not specifically a law, but it's a doctrine in corporate law that basically says that as a board and as a CEO, you are legally obligated to find the most value for your shareholders and get them their most value. So here's the thing. Once Paramount increased their bid to $31 per share, as I go over this thing here, the Revlon rules, when a company is up for sale, the board of directors, I don't know why I have all this. I have all my CinemaCon stuff there. The Revlon rule, when a company is up for sale, the board of directors' primary duty shifts to getting the highest possible price for shareholders. So here's the thing. Once the $31 per share thing came into play, Paramount became obligated to accept it unless
Warner Brothers became obligated to accept.
Warner Brothers became obligated to accept, thank you. Unless Zaslav could make the case, let me give you more space here, that they could achieve $31 per share on their own without the deal. So once Paramount came forward and gave that $31 per share offer, the only legal way, without getting sued, the only legal way they could reject that offer is to show that either A, we can get that much value from another bid, but Netflix declined to increase their offer, so that went off the board, or show that within the next couple of years, we can get our share price up to $31 all by itself. And that simply is not realistic. There's a reason David Ellison and Paramount are going to be $79 billion in debt once they buy Warner Brothers. It's just they're overpaying, but they got the winning bid, right? And so one of the other things the article points out is that Zaslav really doesn't have a say. It's really all up to the board, who he works for, and up to the shareholders. Now, at the end of the day in April, the shareholders can vote against this deal, but it's their company. It's the shareholders' company. It's not the board's company. It's not David Zaslav's company. It's the board's company. So to kind of summarize this, David Zaslav was not planning on selling the company. Paramount made an unsolicited bid, which triggered a legal set of actions that needed to happen after that, which led to an open bidding war. They found a partner they wanted to work with in Netflix, but then when Paramount increased their bid up to $31 per share, they simply had no other choice. And by the way, on top of all that, a couple of the investor groups who are the shareholders of Warner Brothers threatened to remove the board and bring multiple lawsuits if they didn't accept the offer. So, getting to walk away with $500 million in severance and in share options is a pretty good consolation prize. But it's just really interesting to really see it made tangible that Zaslav himself did not want to sell. He wants to be the head of a Hollywood studio. But this sounds weird to say, he's just a CEO. And there are more powerful people in a corporation than the CEO, the board, the shareholders, and there's nothing he can do about it at this point. Now, if he could find the right deal, maybe he sells it anyway. At some time down the road, he was probably going to sell it sometime later. He really wanted to spin off those legacy networks and just have the studio and be the head of that studio, increase its value and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, Rob, I thought this article, we don't often talk about inside industry stuff on our show. We like mostly to talk about the movies and casting and directors.
Sure,
and
but this is important.
But this is huge. And I just thought that this was, again, an excellent article by the people over at Variety. Well done. And it really kind of does paint this in a different sort of picture. And really the only ones who could have stopped this, besides the shareholders, who are not going to vote against this, because it's going to make them a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Was Netflix increasing their bid. By the way, interesting thing also noted in the article, that out of the 32,000 employees at Warner Brothers, the article points out about 16,000 of them have stock in the company. They're going to get paid too. Not everybody, but they're going to get paid too, because their stock options was probably issued to them when the stock was about $10.
Yeah.
Which means they're going to more than triple their money. So anyway, Rob, you had a chance to peruse the article. What are some of the things that stood out to you the most?
Well, look, late stage capitalism. I believe in capitalism because I think it's the best motivator for human achievement in terms of it fuels innovation. It fuels all kinds of things. The bastardization and the taking advantage of capitalism because human beings are greedy is always a problem. The thing about all of this, I wonder what leaves Warner Brothers in the best place to continue doing the job of creating the kind of entertainment we want from them, to have a year like they had last year. 7 or actually 8 movies opening over $40 million at number one, and then 7 of those going on to great success. That's what I want. Is this studio going to be left in a position where it's going to flourish for the next 10 years? Now, as a friend of ours who actually works at Paramount said to me last week, this person is very fond of David Ellison and made a good point and said, as a steward of the studio, that David Ellison does incredible due diligence in terms of going to meetings, getting involved in which movies are greenlit. He has great notes. And I've heard this from people that work with him for the last 15 years. I think he has a pretty great reputation. I didn't realize how good of a reputation he has in terms of the business of how he really puts in the time. And it was really great to hear that about him. My only problem is this. There's a lot of redundancy. Studios have their own identities, and they always have. And there aren't very many left. And when you have two of our studios controlled by the same people, those identities, by definition, are going to become one, I think. Now, they also have to get Saudi money. There's a lot of talk about these new Saudi investment, different investors that are going to come in. Now, they're not going to be on the board. They're not going to be able to vote. And they're certainly not going to be able.
So they claim.
So they claim.
Yeah.
I was listening to a big story on this yesterday on NPR, and they say that they're not going to have any control over content. Well, I don't like the fact that there's any kind of exertion of force on American companies that create American commercial art that can be at all influenced by outside forces. I mean, it's naive for me to say that because everything can be influenced by money. Look, what I want to see out of this, I think it's unfortunate that Zaslav, his dream was shattered because I think he was doing a good job.
I mean, the results speak for themselves. Look at the year Warner Brothers had. Look at their streaming profits. Look at the awards. Look at the debt reduction. He's killed it over there.
Look, my favorite thing that came out of CinemaCon, one of my favorite things that we have not talked about, and I keep forgetting to mention it, is Warner Brothers has a new division.
That's
Warner
right,
Brothers Clockwork. That logo is redolent of Clockwork Orange, which is one of my favorite movies, a Warner Brothers film. By the way, the first Warner Brothers movie that Stanley Kubrick made. And Sean Baker's movie Te Amo is going to be their first.
Right, I just read that
He's
today.
the Academy Award-winning director of Anora.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most exciting thing for me, considering, I produced a horror film at Warner Brothers. I love Warner Brothers. I started my career there. I love that they've done this. And I hope that this gets to flourish underneath the new administration because incredibly exciting. I think that's what Warner Brothers needs.
I mean, I'll hope that if it does go through, look, I'm not going to lie. I am still very much an advocate for this merger getting blocked.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it does go through,
we've said before, we'll support it.
Yeah. What else are we going to do? Just cry? I mean, if it does go through, then it goes through. And I, as a movie fan, am left with no option but to cheer them on and hope they succeed. I just hope it doesn't get to that. But if it does, I'll get on board.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, that's what I want. All I care about at the end of the day is I want to get great movies and I want to continue to see their catalogs exploited so I can buy them on physical media. That's what I want. That's it.
Or Paramount gets crushed by that debt and then Netflix ends up buying the whole damn thing for pennies on the dollar.
I don't want to see that.
I'd rather Netflix own it than Paramount.
Yeah, I'd rather see that.
I
too.
want Paramount to flourish and make great Star Trek movies.
Well, let's see if that happens.
That's why you need Netflix. I'm telling you.
All right, guys. Question is for you. Again, I highly encourage you guys to go over to Variety and read that article. It was very well written. Good job to them and kudos to them. But what do you think about it? What stands out to you the most? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? The bona fide hit of the year so far. I mean, yes, Project Hail Mary is going to cross $600 million, which was what I thought was the ceiling for that film. And it's going to exceed that. Awesome. Couldn't have happened to a better film. It's the best film of the year so far. But I mean, the hit of the year so far is the Mario Brothers Galaxy movie. I mean, to nobody's surprise, this thing came out of the gate, made a ton of money. And it now looks like after 3 weekends, it has made $750 million. It's going to cross the $1 billion mark because it still hasn't opened in Japan and it still hasn't opened in the Koreas. And so, I mean, those aren't huge movie markets, but it will mean something. This is going to be the first $1 billion film of 2026. As you can see
I think
here.
it'd be only the Korea.
What's that?
It won't open in North Korea.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes, it will. South Korea. So here in Variety, they're reporting box office Super Mario movie easily tops the charts again, 3rd week in a row with 35 million. Lee Cronin's The Mummy debuts at 13.5. So I think we learned a couple of things. One is that Mario Brothers is going to be the first $1 billion film of the year, which is great. But if you guys remember, I've said for a while, I think the new Mario Brothers movie can hit the $1 billion mark. It can, but it will not be as big as the second one, or as the first one, I should say. It will not be as good as the first one, or as big as the first one. And I think we can say at this point that is now a certainty, because as we look at this, the Super Mario Galaxy, after 3 weekends, has now made $750 million. But at the same point, after its third weekend, the first Mario Brothers movie made $875 million worldwide. And you see a lot of that comes from domestic. Domestically, the Super Mario Galaxy movie has made $356 million, where at the same point last time, Mario Brothers made $436 million. So I think both things are safe to say at this point. I think it's safe to say this will cross the $1 billion mark, becoming the second Mario Brothers movie in a row to join the $1 billion club. That is huge. Don't undersell that. But it's also going to come in just a little bit under what the first film did. And I think that's for a couple of reasons. First, same thing I've been saying all along. Just not as many people going to the movies today right now. That's starting to change in 2026, but as of right now, not as many people are going to the movies as there were, in previous years. But I think the second thing is simply this. The first Mario Brothers movie was just better. It was just a better film. So people, I think, were more incentivized to go back and watch it again, maybe bring a couple people with them. Super Mario Galaxy just isn't that good. I really did prefer the first. I wish the second one was as good as the first one, but those are the two culprits I see as to why it's still going to be a massive success. Huge success, but not quite to that astronomical level that the first one was. Rob, two different questions. Number one, do you agree that it's going to hit $1 billion, but not hit the 1.3 whatever of the first film? And if so, what do you attribute the shortfall to?
Well, yeah, I think it will. I mean, it hasn't opened in its home country yet. And I think that it's still making money. So I think absolutely it's probably going to cross the $1 billion mark. But like you said, one, it's not, look, the Mario Brothers movie was the first. And the Mario Brothers movie was, I think, a lot more enjoyable to a larger group of people. Parents could like it as much as their kids. Whereas this movie, and I haven't seen the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I have not seen it yet. But I haven't heard one person say that it was better than the first movie or that they thought it was a great movie. Some people said it's fun, they got what they wanted from it. But look, if it was the Empire Strikes Back or the Two Towers of Mario movies, maybe it would have made a ton of money. But I would say this, look, making this movie, it's not like this movie was supposed to be high art to begin with. It's not the Shawshank Redemption of Mario Brother movies. And if it makes $1 billion, it has succeeded to now turn one movie into a franchise that is now very successful and viable. And that's always good for business. It might not be my thing. I mean, I'm not going to buy this on physical media and watch it over and over again like I would say Godfather. But I still think that having a movie that makes this kind of money is robust. It's successful. It employs people. That's great. And you know what? There's a kid out there, John, that this is their favorite movie they've ever seen.
Maybe this is the Godfather 3 of the Mario Brothers movies.
This is the Godfather. Hey, that movie Godfather 3 got nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. But listen, here's the good news, though. The good news for Mario is this. Because, I already saw some discussions online about, oh no, this Mario movie isn't going to make as much as the first one. What's the future for this franchise? As if the future were in doubt. Listen, here's the good news. This movie is going to make over $1 billion despite not being a very good movie. And it's still going to make $1 billion. Mm-hmm. You make another Mario movie, make it better. I say that as if it's easy. It's not easy. It's really hard. But you make another Mario Brother movie. This tells me that if they make another one, and let's say they put the kind of quality into it that, I don't know, that a Lego movie had, or that Hoppers had, or that, Elemental had, or that, the Incredibles have. You put the fun and everything in it, but you also put a quality movie into it. I'm telling you right now, a third Mario Brothers movie could make $1.5 billion.
Sure.
So it's funny to say that, this movie wasn't as good as the first one. It's not going to make as much money, but I see this as an incredibly positive sign because it's all that is true and it's still going to make $1 billion. Imagine what's going to happen if they put out a third one, but just actually make it a better film. I think this franchise can make, like I said, 1.5 billion.
Even if it stopped at $750 million.
It's still the biggest film of the year.
Yeah, it's a huge success.
As of right now, it's the biggest film of the year.
It's not like the budget is that huge. No. Like 750 million would be a huge profit.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? After its third weekend, I think there are a couple things that are for certain. One, it's going to make $1 billion. Two, it won't make as much as the first one. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad sign for the future of this franchise, especially if they can make the movies a little bit better. I think these things can make a lot of money for a long time. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's go on and talk about this. At the Paramount presentation at CinemaCon, which I did not attend, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was honestly not all that interested in it because other than Sonic 4, what did they have? Nothing. So I really was not, but I still would have gone.
Jackass is going to make $50 million in profit, John.
Opening day, my friend. Opening day. I mean, and I'm not going to lie, I'm looking forward to seeing Jackass. I am. But I still would have gone if it wasn't for the fact that the night before, we were literally streaming until 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And the Paramount presentation was at 9 a.m., which meant we would have had to have been there in line by 8 a.m. And that just wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't going to happen. If it was the Disney panel or the Warner Brothers panel, maybe I would have forced myself. But the combination of the two things, we didn't go. But one of the things that did get announced at that Paramount thing was that they were going to do Top Gun 3. We kind of already knew that. We talked about that a while ago, that the producers have already said they're already working on it. But again, it became official, Top Gun 3. And who's not looking forward to seeing Top Gun 3? I know I certainly am. But then we got some bad news. It looks like the director of Top Gun Maverick, Joseph Kosinski, who just recently directed F1 to a Best Picture nomination at the Academy. That's 2 films in a row he did that got nominated for Best Picture. According to this report, he ain't coming back to do Top Gun 3. And really, this should not be all that surprising because of 2 things. Thing number 1, Paramount wants to get moving on a Top Gun 3 quickly. The reality is, as incredibly ageless as he is, Tom Cruise is not getting any younger. God, I cannot wait to see Digger. Oh my God, guys, wait till you see Digger.
Unbelievable.
Oh my God. Anyway, so he's not getting younger. They want to move on this fairly quickly. But the second thing is, right now, Joseph Kosinski has 2 films lined up. And directing a film is not like being an actor in a film. You can be in 5 movies in a year. You go to set probably for anywhere between 3 to 9 weeks.
I think Anne Hathaway's got 6.
She's got 5 or 6 movies coming out this year. You can just go to a movie set and be on movie set for anywhere between 3 to 9, maybe 12 weeks at most, then go off to another movie. But when you're the director, you're working on that thing for years. And Joseph Kosinski's got 2 coming. He's got that UFO film he's going to be doing for Amazon. And more importantly, what's the other one they just announced that he was going to do? Why am I freezing on it? Guys in the live chat. What's the one they just said he was going to do? Because now I'm freezing on it. It's not the UFO one. It's the Miami Vice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that we were talking about. The Miami Vice film. That he might be doing with Michael B. Jordan. Minimum commitment. Minimum. 3 years. That's 3 years right there gone. Paramount does not want to wait until 2030 to film Top Gun 3. So it looks like he's out. Now, what the whispers are and what the easy money on this is that Tom Cruise is going to turn to his movie husband, Christopher McQuarrie. who they have made some fabulous movies together. Now, it's not official that Christopher McQuarrie is going to do Top Gun 3. I'll just say right now, I'll be shocked if it's anybody other than Christopher McQuarrie who directs Top Gun 3. I think that's going to happen. And again, they make great movies together. They really do. But I'm not going to lie, Rob. It's going to be tough because Kaczynski, with that style that you saw so on display in F1, that same style that he used in, missing that. Now, I'm sure McQuarrie and Cruise are going to figure out a way to replicate it pretty closely, but I got to say, it does not kill my enthusiasm for Top Gun 3, but I'm kind of bummed out to find out that Kaczynski won't be directing Top Gun 3. Anyway, Rob, you heard about this. Are you surprised? Not surprised? Who do you think directs it? What do you think?
No, I'm not surprised at all because, like you pointed out, time waits for no man. And if you've got two great movies lined up, look, I don't care what anyone else thinks. I love Michael Mann's Miami Vice, and I can't wait to see this new Miami Vice. Cannot wait. Love the cast. If Kaczynski's going to direct it, it's going to look great. Bring it on. And, how long is it going to take them to get a great script out of this? Look, lightning strikes twice. Top Gun's getting re-released in theaters in a couple weeks for its 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
This Top Gun Maverick was a diamond in the rough. It was a legacy sequel that just turned out to be spectacular. It outgrossed the original by a wide margin. It played on nostalgia. It was actually very, very good, beautifully made. The cinematography was aces. The aerial photography was like nothing we'd ever seen. Tom Cruise was at the top of his game. It had a great supporting cast. That's hard to replicate. And to me, Top Gun 3 might be like Iron Eagle 3. I hope not.
Oh, man, come on. This is going to be...
Iron Eagle 2 wasn't that good
either.
either.
Iron Eagle 1 wasn't good. I couldn't deal with the shots. They had missiles. They didn't have missiles. It drove me crazy.
This is going to be... Come on. This is going to be Top Gun, The Enemy Strikes Back.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, with all the drone warfare going on, are they still going to be even flying planes? Maybe it'll just be all the pilots sitting down in a room like Russell Crowe.
It's going to be a shared cinematic universe. Iron Eagle versus Top Gun.
There you go. No, where is the Days of Thunder? Where's Cole Trickle versus Brad Pitt? I want that movie.
Well, I mean,
that's
that's probably still going to come.
Yeah, that's
what Kaczynski should direct.
But that's his third movie, right? So that really pushes out.
It's true.
Doing a Top
yeah,
Gun.
no, it's tough. But I think, look, if McQuarrie directs this movie, it's going to be the best it can be because he basically wrote the script for Maverick. So we know. I mean, look, if nothing else, we're going to get a character-driven movie that has lots of cool plane stuff. That's all we want, with a little bit of romance, a little bit of pop music, little Gaga in there. I don't know, somebody new, who knows? But I will watch it if it's good. But it's the only way Top Gun 3 is going to get made is if the script is aces. That's the only way.
I've got your Top Gun 3. Oh my God! And I just saw Bigville in the live chat just kind of echoed what I'm about to say. So here's Top Gun 3.
Oh, shit, I just lost it.
Goose never died.
Dude.
How dare you?
He actually survived. They thought he was dead.
Body double.
But Russian agents took him away before they realized he was still alive.
He had to lose an arm, though, right?
And now he's got a... Not adamantium arm, a vibranium arm. No. And they took him away to Russia, and they've indoctrinated him. And now he comes back seeking revenge. He blames Maverick for almost killing him and taking his kid and his wife. Yeah.
Well, theoretically, this will happen after Secret Wars. So after Battle World becomes the single one multiverse and there's only a new Earth, you can do whatever you want for Top Gun 3 because it doesn't have to be in continuity.
I think it'll be good. Think about it, the Winter Goose, somebody in live chat just said. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Top Gun 3's coming, but it ain't going to have the director from Top Gun Maverick, which is kind of unfortunate. But if he does work with Christopher McQuarrie, that could still be pretty good. I mean, that could still be really good. Anyway, whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we still have a couple of other topics we're going to talk about, including the surprisingly bad reviews of the Michael Jackson movie. That wasn't on your bingo card.
You're not laughing at that, though, are you?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. And After its absence, Marvel is returning to Comic-Con Hall H. What can we expect from that? We're going to talk about that and a couple things more. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second and thank the sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at Hims. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Hims. I know a lot of us have weight loss goals, but actually hitting them, that's the hard part. Hims now offers access to an affordable range of FDA-approved GLP-1 medications, including the Wegovy pill at its lowest price ever and the Wegovy pen. And when combined with diet and exercise, Wegovy can help you lose up to 20% or more of your body weight by helping regulate your appetite so you eat less. You connect with a licensed provider who determines if treatment is right for you, and if prescribed, your medication gets delivered straight to your door, no insurance needed. Plus, you get 24/7 access to your care team and in-app support like meal plans, recipes, fitness videos, and more. Ready to reach your goals? Visit hims.com/Campea to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's HIMS.com/Campea. hims.com/Campea. Based on advertised cash price for a 30-day supply of medication only. Membership required, fee not included, and billed separately. Weight loss by Hims is not available in all 50 states. Wegovy is the registered trademark of Novo Nordisk AS. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, Wegovy clinical study information and restrictions, visit hims.com. And thank you to our friends at Hims for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, that down. Let's move on to this. You know, one of the movies I've really had high on my radar has been Antoine Fuqua's rendition of the new biopic, Michael, about Michael Jackson. I think the previews have been fantastic. I've loved the trailers. I've been really looking forward to seeing this movie. I've predicted this could solidly be, depending if the movie turned out great or not, but it could easily be $1 billion film. And I've stood by that, and I'm going to go see it tomorrow night. Got my tickets to an advanced fan screening tomorrow night. I know a bunch of you guys watching probably have tickets to that one too. Really looking forward to it. Well, the reviews are out. And despite the fact that this is one of those movies that critics love to love and have been really excited about and have been looking forward to, as of this recording, the Michael movie is holding a 31% on Rotten Tomatoes. By the time you watch this, might be a little lower, might be a little higher. Not good. Not good. We'll talk about maybe why, but here's what some of the critics are saying. We jump over here. We start with We Live Entertainment writes, it treats Michael with a high level of respect to a fault, barely skimming the surface of many of his more interesting ideas, and ultimately serves as a half movie. A half movie is a criticism we'll hear a lot of. Consequence wrote, this is a movie terrified to explore the interiority of its protagonist, and that approach will work just fine for the fans who just want to watch an uncomplicated ramble of a movie that plays all the hits. Jellyfish Films writes, it's impossible to picture anyone else in the role. Jafar Jackson delivers a performance tailor-made for fans of the King of Pop. By the way, that is also consistent throughout all the reviews that I've read, was that everybody seems to think Jafar Jackson did a great job in the movie. Anyway, our friend Fred Topple over at United Press wrote, far from the first musician biopic to use the familiar shortcuts and cliches to chronicle an artist's life and career. However, those cliches have gotten a lot funnier to notice since Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, parodied them in 2007. Film Verdict wrote, where Fuqua and his team are allowed to shine is the evocation of some of the most exciting musical moments from Jackson's career. But the rest of Michael is utterly empty, even by biopic standards. Lyle's Movie Files really liked it, said, this sparkly kid gloves treatment of a creative wonder kid whose own demons don't get explored in this chapter might be off-putting for some viewers, but for those who want to see the pop icon's early years, likely won't want it to stop. Movie Maker wrote, it basks, in the glory years, a greatest hits montage where we remember the King of Pop best. For some, that's more than enough to satisfy their need as a film, but one wonders whether Michael deserved a better biopic than this. A Film Maven liked it. They wrote, it's very much, I don't even know what to say about that. Hagiography, swathed in glitter and flash, and In the moment, it does what it sets out to do. Just don't expect to walk away learning anything new. Only established Jackson fans need apply. And it goes on and on.
Only established Jackson fans, so like a billion people?
Yeah. Maybe more hardcore.
Yeah.
So the general sense that I got through reading, I read through I didn't read through all 100 of them. I read through about 50, 60 of them. The general sense that I got was it's incredibly surface level. It doesn't dive deep into even that era's, the person of whom Michael was. A lot of people criticize that it really does. Now, you understand the movie got chopped in half, but we've seen others do that and still make each movie feel like a complete movie. And a lot of people I've read were complaining it just feels very much like a half a movie. Doesn't feel like a full movie. A lot of people complaining about overuse of cliches. And again, just very surface level. But if you're just a big, huge fan of Michael Jackson, you want to go hear the big hits, then this might be enough for you. Look, I have not seen the movie myself. I am very excited to see the movie. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Like I said, Ann and I are going to go watch it tomorrow night. And the main reason I've had a lot of faith in this movie is simply because of Antoine Fuqua. I think he's a tremendous director. Not a perfect director. He hasn't made, not everything he's made that I love, but, I've got a lot of faith in him. So hearing these criticisms from people, by the way, a couple of these people I know have been dying to see this movie. Like, you got to understand, guys, like some of the harsher reviews are coming from people who were cheering hard for this movie, like really excited about it. And they walked away disappointed. And I don't know if I will or not. Maybe, hopefully I'll love it. But it makes me wonder, you can't look past the fact that this was a movie that was practically finished when they found out they had to scrap it and go back to the drawing board because the Michael Jackson estate did an oopsie and forgot to tell the producers that they weren't allowed to use an entire segment of the movie in the movie. That was not the studio's fault. It was not Antoine Fuqua's fault. That was the Michael Jackson estate's fault. And they had to go back to the drawing board, re-envision it, ultimately deciding to make it 2 films, all that kind of stuff. And I cannot help but wonder, again, as somebody who has not seen the movie yet, so I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. But one can't help but wonder if, Rob, if a lot of these criticisms come out of the fact that this was a movie that had a major wrench thrown in its gears in its life cycle of trying to come to the screen, and it got delayed and all that kind of stuff. So, or maybe it was just Antoine Fuqua having a bad day at the office. Every director's had one. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, Rob, you've heard, you read through a bunch of these reviews. I know you've been excited to see this movie too. What are you thinking about what we're hearing so far? And what do you think might be behind that?
Well, I mean, if you really think about the period of time, I guess this movie covers his early years with the Jackson 5 and dealing with his abusive father, and it goes all the way up through Bad, which is Bad, I think, came out in 87. The album was released in 87.
Somewhere around there.
So it covers that period of time.
When did Thriller come out?
Early 80s.
It's like 84.
Okay, right.
Because I think it's 83. It was
Could
like
be.
there was Off the Wall, then there was Thriller. But
82. November 30th, 82. So
okay.
just about 83.
Yeah. So the thing about that period of his time, I mean, yes, he has an abusive father, but Michael Jackson's life was pretty blessed. I mean, in terms of that period of time when he had the biggest albums in history and was making Thriller and was in Captain EO and did all this great stuff. Now, I understand. I mean, obviously, he had some image problems I know they deal with in the movie, like when he changed his nose and his skin issues and his identity issues and his plastic surgery and all that. Those would be interesting things to delve into that maybe came out of his perfectionism. But it's not like, he spiraled into becoming a heroin addict, or something like that. I mean, what happened later was sordid, and what really happened we'll probably never know. And it was unsavory. I just think this is a hard subject. I mean, Johnny Cash sang Folsom Prison Blues. You know, he was always he was a different kind of a guy. So walk the line. But Michael Jackson, I think it's a harder thing to deal with because his public persona, until he had these issues, he was a superstar. I mean, he was like a god amongst men. So I don't know what more we're supposed to get because I don't know how much there was really under the surface to begin with in terms of the tour. We're so used to, like you point out so often, and it's so true, musical biopics follow the same trajectory. And I noticed Graham King, who produced this, also produced Bohemian Rhapsody. And that movie was criticized for not being as hard-hitting or delving into...
Bohemian Rhapsody was a very well-received film.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
And but it also, you know, it was also controlled by the band, you know, by the rest of Queen.
Yeah.
And Graham King made it. And I'll tell you something, maybe this is a celebration of Michael Jackson's work and life.
I think it's basically what it is. I think you nailed it.
And yeah, and I think in that case, I'm excited to see it because it looks like it's a beautifully crafted recreation of all these events that I lived through. And again, like you, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, but I still want to see it.
Yeah, you know, this happens all the time. All of us as film fans are guilty of this. I'm already seeing people jumping to make excuses. Like I've seen a lot. I've seen the narrative going around about critics just wanted them to go into the legal accusations. That's what, and because they didn't go into that, that's why the critics didn't like it. Guys, I've read through a little over 50 of the reviews. I've not seen one critic mention that. Not one. Every critic is plugged into the industry and they knew going into it that this movie happens before a lot of those events. So there's no reason it would have touched on that. Again, I'm not saying there are zero film critics out there that don't mention it. I'm just saying I've read through about 50 of them. And not a single one of them have said, I didn't like this because they didn't go into the legal accusations. Not a single one. So please stop making excuses. All right. Now, you may go see the movie and love it, and I may go see the movie and love it. I hope this is a situation like Venom. Because remember, the critics didn't like Venom, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So hopefully that'll be here. But I mean, all I'm saying is, guys, remember, you're talking about, I know for a fact most of these critics wanted to love this movie. And they have been cheering for this movie. This is the type of movie that film critics love. This is their jam. This is their kind of thing. And if they're walking away from it, people who are excited about it and wanted to see it and totally understood it's about the first half of his career and all that kind of stuff, if they're walking away from it and saying, we didn't think it was very good, it does make me a little concerned. It makes me a little worried.
Questlove, who I am a huge fan of, and I have the utmost respect. He's got a new documentary coming out, I think, about Earth, Wind, and Fire. I can't wait to see. He made a post, I believe it was on Facebook, that was very complimentary and spoke in ways about why this movie is important and what it represents and how it celebrates the work and the art that I thought was pretty good too. And so, you know, I trust in Questlove.
Yeah. So again, I'm excited to see it. I've been excited to watch it. I'm still excited to go see it. I will go in with my expectations tempered a little bit. Again, listen, not a lot of movies go through the type of drama that this movie had to go through to get made. Like literally finishing filming and then having to scrap the entire third act and go back and redo everything. And then dividing it into, I mean, I don't know how you do it. I think if this movie's any good at all, it's a miracle.
And it's two studios. It's Lionsgate and Universal. And I'd love to see this movie do well for both of their sakes.
Yeah, I have a lot of excitement to see it. So, but again, if the main thing I'm worried about is when they talk about that, it just feels very thin, that it's very cliche heavy, that it doesn't feel like a complete movie. Those are the criticisms that concern me a little bit. So
yeah, I mean, I just hope it doesn't stop till it gets enough box office.
Nice.
You know, when you're only having seconds, it's having 23rds.
Oh boy.
But here's another question too. I've been predicting that Michael would be $1 billion film. I might not get to that level, but I think the $1 billion mark to become the highest grossing biopic in history. I've been predicting Michael can be that movie. But I've also always said it kind of depends on how good the film is. I mean, obviously, if the film's really good, it can go way beyond it. If the film's not so good, maybe it falls short. And now I'm worried a little bit. I mean, listen, this thing is still going to this thing's going to have a huge opening weekend. Huge. But what kind of legs will it have? Will people go back to see it 2 or 3 times? I just don't know at this point.
I think that people are going to go, and I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes a family hit, that people are dancing in the aisles, because it celebrates the king of pop. It doesn't celebrate the beleaguered, troubled, lawsuit-ridden guy. I mean, it celebrates that. It's a celebratory movie.
Well, I don't know if it is because I haven't seen it.
Well, yeah, but it seems to be.
That's
Like, at least everything that look, all the stuff that's recreated. I don't know if they're going to show us his hair catch on fire in the Pepsi commercial shooting, whatever. But I do think that a lot of people are going to rediscover Michael Jackson. I think kids are going to go and see this who don't know much about Michael Jackson and probably rediscover all of his works. I wouldn't be surprised if the Spotify playlists are choked with Michael Jackson songs in the next couple of weeks. Maybe.
I don't know if a lot of kids are going to go see this. I mean, I never thought a lot of
their
kids
parents are going to take them.
I think the parents are going to leave them at home and go out to see them in droves. I think if the parents are going to take them to see anything, they're going to take them to see Mario Brothers. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, listen, I'm still excited to see it. I'm just going to temper my expectations a little bit, and I'm still going to go in. I fully trust Antoine Fuqua, and hopefully this will end up being the movie that I'm hoping that it is. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? A very pro Michael Jackson film critic base is not loving the movie. Does that give us some cause for concern? Maybe yes, maybe no. I'll find out for myself when I go to see it tomorrow, as I'm sure many of you will as well. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Comic-Con is still, like, my favorite event of the year is CinemaCon. Okay, like, just straight up, it's CinemaCon. But, I mean, the thing on the calendar for most fans is Comic-Con, specifically San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, that's how big it is. You don't even have to say San Diego Comic. You just say Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's
everybody
colloquial.
knows what you're talking about.
It's like Xerox.
Yeah, if you're going to say New York Comic-Con, you got to say New York Comic-Con. If you're going to talk about Los Angeles Comic-Con, you got to say Los Angeles Comic-Con. If all you say is Comic-Con, everyone knows what you're talking about. You're talking about San Diego Comic-Con. And it is a place that is built for Marvel, man. And listen, for a lot of years, Marvel has basically held court over Comic-Con. There are a few years I thought DC won, but it's always like Saturday night, the main event, the last thing that they do, Comic-Con is Marvel's panel at Comic-Con. Right now, recently they didn't have one. They kind of skipped it. That was weird, but according to IGN and others, Marvel Studios is reportedly back for San Diego Comic-Con 2026, and we will be expecting a Saturday night Hall H presentation from Comic-Con again. Fair or unfair? Fair or unfair? I got to admit, when I think of, there are a few things I like to think about when I think about Marvel iconic moments in Hall H. One is Robert Downey Jr. dancing down the aisles. The one, though, Tom Hiddleston coming out in Loki outfit.
It's the greatest thing ever.
I am Loki of Asgard, and I am burdened with glorious purpose. That was one of the greatest Comic-Con moments
ever
of all time. I just loved it. But, and maybe this is unfair. Today, when I think of Marvel and Hall H, I think of them announcing Blade. I can't. I'm just telling you the truth. I think of them doing this big presentation and bringing out Mahershala Ali and saying "Blade, everybody." And so that's kind of disappointing. Look, am I surprised Marvel is coming back to Comic-Con and to Hall H? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I only expected they didn't have much to present last year, right? So I kind of expected that. So they're coming back. But mainly because we've talked about this ad nauseum, Rob. You cannot overstate how important this Doomsday movie is to them. They're on a nice little streak. Daredevil's been really good. Wonder Man was fantastic. Fantastic Four was quite good. Thunderbolts was amazing. Ironheart. We'll put that aside. But so they've got a nice kind of roll going. And they're heading into Doomsday, and we got Spider-Man coming, and that looks really good. They showed us a presentation at
Comic-Con is the week before Spider-Man opens.
Yeah. So they're going to go big on that too.
And then Vision Quest, and then Doomsday.
They'll mention Vision Quest and whatever. So there's a couple of things. One, it's going to be heavy Avengers Doomsday. Heavy Avengers Doomsday. They I think we're going to get a second trailer because they'll drop the first one soon. I believe we're going to get our second Doomsday trailer at Comic-Con, and then they'll do you want to see it again? And then they'll play it twice because that's what they do at Comic-Con. And because it's not an overstatement to say they need Doomsday to succeed. They really do. It doesn't kill them if Doomsday falls on its face, because just 1 year later we got Secret Wars and they can recover, but they really do need Doomsday to work and to go over big and continue to build the buzz. So this is going to be, yes, they're going to talk Spider-Man, they're going to talk Vision Quest. This is going to be mostly about Doomsday. I'm predicting everybody in the movie is going to be there on stage, barring some small cameos. But like every significant person in that movie is going to be there on stage. Right.
And the people from Spider-Man Brand New Day too.
Oh, probably. Yeah. Unless they're out on the road promoting the film internationally.
True. Yeah.
Like we had a couple of movies at CinemaCon that are opening up imminently, but they couldn't be there because they're literally on the international tour to promote the film.
Like Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, but I think everybody in this movie is going to be there. They're going to pull out all the stops. So that's the one big thing that I think they're going to do. But that is also where I think we're going to get the announcements of what's coming in between Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Theatrically, you mean?
Yes, theatrically. That's where I think we're going to get that.
Are we getting anything theatrically?
We are. Yeah, we are. They got some dates.
Yeah, that's right.
In there. Now, it's hard to imagine what can you possibly do between Doomsday and Secret Wars, but I think they'll probably announce a couple things that are going to be coming out there too. Maybe also some Marvel, some Disney Plus stuff. I'm not really sure, but I think it's going to be very, very heavy Doomsday. And I think they're going to make it the biggest party in San Diego that night. I think they're going to make the whole damn thing a big celebration. They're going to have drone shows flying over the cityscape. Remember they did that the one year? They had the big drone show with the Marvel stuff. They're going to do that again this year. They're going to go all freaking out. So I don't know, Rob, you hear about this. What are you expecting?
Well, first of all, I think you're right. I've kind of grown tired of people going, well, nobody cares about Doomsday. It's a Hail Mary pass, and I don't care. I'm like, you know what? We're getting a movie that is, if nothing else, unbelievably ambitious, and it's epic AF. It's ginormous, and it's going to be a hella good time at the movies. So I'm like, that alone, you can talk about all the other failings of the Marvel Cinematic Universe all you want, and they would not be unfounded, but we know that. Now we're moving forward, and I think that they've been on a good, as you pointed out, a good run. And I do think, look, between Daredevil Born Again, between Punisher, what we already got with Wonder Man, and then leading into Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I can already tell you that Vision Quest is something special. And I think don't sleep on that, because that's going to get represented. You're going to see footage from that too, because it starts, I don't know, sometime it hasn't been announced, but sometime between then and then leading up to Doomsday. I think it's going to be really exciting and fun. And I think that we're going to have a great old time. And like you said, it's going to be a huge party. Marvel's going to be the conquering heroes, whatever after party that's going to have, wherever they're going to go. It's going to be amazing. And it's going to be, they know that Tom Hiddleston is Loki. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out as God of Stories Loki. I don't know how they would do that live on a stage, but he's going to come out and introduce everybody. People are going to go bananas. You know what they did at that Hall H2? That was where they announced the name of the new Avengers movie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I went bananas because I was hoping, I'm like, I wonder if it's going to be a Age of Ultron, because nobody had said what the name of the movie was. I just threw that out there. And dude, I lost my mind. I was an old man about to have an aneurysm or a heart attack at that Hall H panel because I was so excited. It was so that panel was so much fun. I've been in Hall H panels. I've hosted Hall H panels. I've never had more fun than that panel. And was it 2015?
Now, Diego in the live chat is kind of spoiling the thunder of the next thing, but I was going to bring this up, is that the third in the three, because again, it's going to be all Doomsday all day, some project announcements. Third thing, this is the speculation. It's where they announce the cast of X-Men. Now, remember, they've had their director for a long time now.
Yeah.
They've had their director for a while. And the only casting we know for sure in X-Men is Sadie Sink.
Well, yes, but if that hasn't been officially announced,
right, that's right. Yeah. It's not official that she's Jean Grey. We just all believe she's Jean Grey. So there's that. So maybe bring out, the rest of the cast there.
I don't think that they're going to announce that until the very end. After Doomsday, I think Kevin Feige is going to come out Columbo style.
Oh, but you do believe at
Yeah.
Comic-Con,
They're going to be
but at the end of it.
One more thing.
Yeah, just because remember, the last time they did a one more thing, they brought out Mahershala Ali.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out so well.
But this is more of a safe bet.
Oh, by the way, but yeah, there's something along the lines. After that, we're moving into the mutant saga.
Or it would be
have mutants.
what would be, or something like that. What would be pretty funny is if they end the Doomsday panel. They've got Spider-Man, they got Vision Quest, Doomsday, and they end the panel, and everybody's off stage, and Sadie Sink comes back out, and she's the one that says, "There's just one more thing."
No. Kevin Feige always.
Of course
makes the
he
announcements.
does.
Always.
Or maybe they come out together.
Yeah, now listen, to be clear, we don't know any of this. We don't know they're going to announce X-Men. We don't know they're going to announce any more films. All we know for sure is it's going to be a lot of Doomsday. Like a lot of Doomsday. And guys, I can't wait for you guys to see the trailer. I'm not really sure why they didn't release it. I still 100% would have bet $100 that once they showed us the Doomsday trailer at CinemaCon, I would have bet $100 that they would have released it online that night. But I guess that wasn't the plan.
Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah. By the way, I got to say this too. Like a lot of people, like, why haven't they just released it? Listen, because I got in this discussion with somebody who's like, if the trailer's done, why not just release it? The trailer's done, just release it. Well, listen, the fact is, trailers are usually done. Remember, I made an entire documentary about trailers. Trailers are usually done months before they're released online. Months.
And how many iterations have they gone through to get to that point?
Many iterations. Actually, I was shocked when we were talking to the trailer houses. I was shocked to find out how many iterations they normally go through. But here's the thing. So they make the trailer, and then they have a marketing plan, and they have a date when they want to release it. And it just so happens that before that date, a huge event called CinemaCon, where Disney's partners in the theatrical exhibition space have their convention, and they just decided to show it to them early. Mm-hmm. They are not holding the Doomsday trailer back from anybody. They have a date when they've always planned to release it. It just so happens that before that date, Disney's trade partners, Disney's industry partners, the theatrical industry, had a thing they decided to show the trailer to their partners. That it's not them holding it back, but I still would have put money on that they would have released that night. I think the trailer is going to come out any day now. I really do. I think by this time next week, it's going to be out.
We already have the description of it, so they have nothing to lose at this point.
Mm-hmm. And I honestly think they were probably planning on releasing it then. So I think within the week, but what do I know? I'm just guessing. And all right, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show a part of your day. We appreciate that a lot, guys, very much, because believe me, it's not lost on us that you could be doing other things today, but you choose to come and hang out with us, your fellow film fans, and talk about those things that we love, and I'm awfully glad that you did. Guys, don't forget to come on back and join us again tomorrow for the next installment of the John Campea Show. We're looking forward to seeing you then. So, for our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
Writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett.
I'm going to see the remastered Speed Racer, John. Dolby Atmos.
We're also excited for you.
We're very excited for you. See Speed Racer.
Here
My
he
name's
comes.
John Campea, everybody. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.